Take a deep breath, take the higher road. That's what they always say, as if they know the way. They won't take it from me. But don't ever doubt yourself, 'cause life ain't just a dream. You made your own, so kick and scream. The people will act with a never-ending force. You never had the chance, so what you waiting for? The day has come, my friend, 'cause this is war. It's time and this is war.
You're listening to Nurses Out Loud on America Out Loud Talk Radio. I'm your host, Nurse Kimberly Overton. Before we get started today, I do want to encourage our listeners, if you have questions or comments, or perhaps you want to share your own experiences with what you're seeing on the front lines of healthcare, you can now submit those to us directly by visiting our website at nursesoutloud.com. We would love to hear from you. We encourage all of you to engage in the battle and find your voice in this fight. But until you are able to do that, we will continue to be that voice for you. Today's episode is a little different. It's deeply personal, profoundly sacred, and it is straight from my heart. A few days ago, I sat down and I began to write. Not for an audience, not for content, but as a way to process the most painful and precious moments I've ever lived through. The final days of my father's life. What began as quiet reflections scribbled between tears at his bedside slowly unfolded into something more. I wasn't just writing for myself. I was writing for him and for every daughter who's ever had to let go of her first hero. Much like the episode I recorded when I was losing my husband, this one isn't easy. It's real. It's honest, it's vulnerable. And if you've ever experienced this kind of grief, the kind of grief that brings you to your knees, then I hope you'll find something here that resonates with you. I originally published this piece on my Substack, Nurses Notes, but I knew I had to share it here with all of you as well, in my own voice. Because it's more than just a blog post. It's a living journal. Each memory, each reflection, each word came to me in quiet moments at his bedside, during pauses in his breathing, during waves of sorrow, during flashes of gratitude so intense they left me breathless. Writing became my anchor, my prayer, my way of staying close while beginning to let go. It's not a polished goodbye. It's very raw. It's layered. It's messy. It's real. It's the story of a daughter losing her father and holding on to everything that she possibly can as she does. This is Dreamland, and I wrote it for him. And there's no textbook for this. No amount of training prepares you for what it means to be the nurse and the daughter. When the man who once taught you how to ride a bike, to dance barefoot in the living room, to be strong, is now declining before your eyes, and you're the one explaining the signs to your own mother. And she looks to me as the nurse, the one who knows what to do. But I'm also her daughter. And his daughter. And the little girl in me still sees him as the strong, steady presence he's always been. And breaking that illusion for her and for myself was gut-wrenching. This is the heartbreakingly beautiful and sacred space of hospice. And this time it wasn't just my profession. It was my family. It was my daddy. As a hospice nurse, I've walked countless families through the tender process of letting go. I've explained what to expect, comforted them as their loved ones began the slow transition from this world to the next. I've been the calm in the storm, the guide, the teacher. But now I'm all those things and the daughter. I'm the one everyone looks to for answers, for strength, for reassurance. And inside, I'm just a little girl watching her dad slip away, slowly and far too soon. 2 years ago, you may remember, I went through this with my husband. He was on hospice as well. And his decline was fast and sharp. And that loss broke something open in me. And now watching my dad decline, it all came rushing back. There were moments when I felt like I was reliving that pain all over again. But I keep showing up because that's what love demands, even when it hurts. When you've already experienced loss so intimately, you carry that imprint with you. It colors the way that you see things. It adds layers to the pain, but also to the compassion. I knew what was coming, not just clinically, but spiritually. I knew the rhythm of this goodbye. I saw the signs. I know what they meant. He was leaning more to the right, losing his appetite. He was quieter. His eyes sometimes seemed far away, like he was already somewhere else. And these are the changes that I've taught families to recognize. But this time I was explaining it to my mother while trying to keep my own voice from cracking. It's surreal being in this role and also in this grief. You can't take off the nurse hat. I couldn't stop analyzing and observing, but I also couldn't stop feeling. I tried to explain to my mom what those changes meant, why he was sleeping more, why his appetite was fading, and why he was beginning to lean and lose balance. I saw her fighting the truth with everything that she had, just like I did not too long ago. And I wanted to shield her from it, but I also knew that the most loving thing that I could do was to help her face it gently and truthfully. It's an impossible balance being the nurse and the daughter, the teacher and the griever. But this is the paradox of our calling, isn't it? We give so much of ourselves to our patients and their families, and then we're asked to give even more when it's our home. There's no manual on how to navigate these dual roles, just grace and presence, and the quiet reminder that we've done this before and we will do it again. Not because it gets easier, but because we understand how important it is. To anyone walking through something similar, I see you. You are not alone. The pain is real. The love is deep. And this work, both professional and personal, it's sacred. This is the kind of heartbreak that reshapes you, but it also refines you. It brings you face to face with what matters most. And if you let it, it can open your heart in ways you've never imagined. As I walked this journey, I poured memories into this blog. It was all that I could do. It helped. It healed. I must have been about 6 years old the year it happened. The year I didn't get a trophy at my dance recital. I had gotten one in previous years, and I had come to expect it with that innocent kind of certainty kids have. But this time, nothing. No shiny gold plastic to hold up proudly. Just disappointment swelling in my chest and tears I tried so hard not to let fall. My dad saw it. And he didn't say much at first, just watched me quietly. And then he did something I'll never forget. He was working as a welder at the time. He was a welder by trade. His hands always smelled like metal and hard work. And sometime later that week, he came home with a gift made entirely from scraps and heart, a homemade trophy. It was crafted from 2 blocks of wood with a small metal cup welded to the top and a little engraved plate at the base that read, "Tiny Dancer." That trophy meant more to me than any recital award ever could, because it didn't come from a ceremony or a judge's score. It came from my father's hands. It said, "I see you. I'm proud of you. You're enough." I kept that trophy for years. And even if it's long gone now, I can still picture it perfectly in my mind. Because sometimes love looks like a glittering cup held together with welds and wood glue. Sometimes it looks like a dad who refuses to let his daughter feel like she's anything less than extraordinary. My dad, if you didn't know, was a singer-songwriter and a guitarist. And he would also be the reason that we would eventually all wind up down here in Nashville, Tennessee, Music City, USA. My father had a dream. He was a gifted songwriter, a true artist with a soul that bled music. He could take pain and turn it into poetry, stringing melodies together with the kind of raw beauty you don't learn. You're just born with it. But like many dreamers, he never quite made it. For him and for me, that was always a source of heartbreak. He carried that longing with him, and I carried the weight of his absence during some of my most formative years. He was in and out of my life, and that instability left scars I didn't know how to name for a long time. I held on to resentment, tucked it away behind my drive to be strong, to be independent, to prove that I didn't need what I had missed. But time has a way of softening what used to sting. And somewhere along the way, I let it go. I saw the man behind the missed years, the man who did show me something invaluable. My father, with all of his imperfections, was a fighter. He stood for what he believed in, even when the world didn't listen. Maybe that's where I got it from. The unshakable will to speak up, to advocate, to build something meaningful out of my own pain. I'm really proud of my dad and the way that he chased down his dreams, win or lose. And no matter what, I'll always be proud of him. I played one of his songs. I played it for him right before he passed. I told him how proud I was of him. I love my dad, and I'll be carrying his music in my heart forever. Even if the world never hears the songs he wrote, I will hear them in my heart, in my memory. You could say that I was born to raise a little bit of hell when it matters. If you've ever wondered where I get my fire from, well, let's just say that I come by it honestly. In the spring and summer of 1981, my family and our neighbors in East Boston, Massachusetts, became part of a defining moment in local history. A grassroots movement led by everyday people who refused to let their community be abandoned. When then Mayor Kevin White made devastating budget cuts that threatened to shut down all but one fire station in East Boston and close down our local police station 7, residents didn't just grumble and accept it. They fought back. For 55 straight days and nights, our community took to the streets in protest. We occupied Station 7. We gathered at the entrances of the Sumner Tunnel and the Meridian Street Bridge to prove a vital point. If you cut off access to emergency services, you cut off lives. Even the local police officers stood with the people because they understood what was at stake. And we won. Station 7 is still open to this day because ordinary citizens refused to be silent. I was there, just a little girl, but already learning what it meant to stand for something. I still remember the energy, the urgency, the pride. I remember standing next to my dad as he elevated his voice, not just for our family, but for everyone's. My family was in it shoulder to shoulder with neighbors, fighting for the safety and dignity of our community. It's no surprise I ended up an advocate. I come from a long line of rabble-rousers and proud supporters of first responders who know that true loyalty means fighting for what's right, not what's easy. The blood in my veins has always known how to resist, how to speak up, how to show up. Even then, I understood that sometimes raising a little hell is holy work. And before I could even say Bruins, I was cheering for them. Diapered, wild-haired, and standing in the middle of our living room, arms raised high, yelling "score" at the top of my lungs. Dad and I watched every game on Channel 38 in Boston. It was our ritual. He was a hockey guy. He played for years and he even coached. I thought he was the coolest man alive when he laced up those skates and hit the ice. I used to sneak into his gear, oversized gloves swallowing my tiny little hands, wobbling around the house in a helmet that fell over my eyes. But he never scolded me. He just laughed. And then he'd sit me on his lap and we'd watch the game together. We loved Terry O'Reilly. He was our guy. Gritty, tough, fearless. But nothing compared to the first time that he took me to the Boston Garden for a game. The energy, the noise, the smell of popcorn and cold air, I'll never forget it. My little hand tucked inside his, my eyes wide, heart pounding as we stepped into the place that to me, it felt like a cathedral. And in many ways it was. Sacred, unforgettable. And we weren't just watching hockey, we were building memories. Threading love through tradition, game by game, glove by glove. And some of my most cherished memories with my father, they live in the glow of Christmas lights and the quiet joy of a thermos full of hot cocoa. Every holiday season, like clockwork, he would bundle me up in a coat zipped to the chin, a scarf that wrapped twice around, and mittens I could barely move in. And then with a sparkle in his eye and childlike excitement in his voice, he'd say, "Come on, Cupcake, let's go see the lights." And we'd jump in the car, just the two of us. And we would head out on a slow, meandering drive through neighborhoods lit up like storybooks. He knew all the best streets, the ones with the houses that went all out. Reindeer on rooftops, blinking icicles, snowman that waved. I'd press my face against the cold window, mesmerized, while he just sipped his coffee and smiled at my awe. But my favorite part, he always made that hot cocoa for me in one of those, the real thermos, the kind that screwed open with a clink and poured into a tiny silver cup. And he never skimped on those mini marshmallows either. We'd park somewhere quiet to just sip and talk, just me and my daddy, in the glow of all of that Christmas magic. And sometimes he would take me all the way into downtown Boston. The city was alive in December. Busy shoppers, Salvation Army bells, store windows sparkling with toy trains and twinkle lights. He'd point things out with pride, making sure I didn't miss a single detail. He loved the hustle and bustle of the season, and even more than that, he loved sharing it with me. I didn't know then how rare and precious those moments would become, how they would stay with me, tucked in the corners of my heart like ornaments carefully wrapped and placed in storage, waiting to be revisited when I needed them the most. And now, as I sat at his bedside in a quiet room, watching that twinkle fade from his eyes, I held tightly to those memories of a man who gave me the gift of wonder, of warmth, hot cocoa on a cold night, and of love that still lights up my soul. It was always the little things that became everything for me. It wasn't always grand gestures with my dad. It was the simple, everyday moments that etched themselves into my soul. The ones I didn't even realize were sacred at the time. He used to take me to the movies, just the two of us. I'd get to pick the film and the candy, and I always felt so grown up sitting beside him in the theater, my little legs swinging from the seat, my hand tucked into his as the previews rolled. I didn't know then how much I'd missed that feeling of security, the way I could lean my head on his shoulder and forget the world for a while. He used to take me to the city yards to play baseball, tossing the ball around like I was one of the guys, cheering me on like I was the next MVP. He never cared if I struck out or missed a catch, which very rarely happened. By the way, I was actually a pretty good player. He just loved spending time with me. And then when summer came, it was off to Salisbury Beach with my friends in tow. We'd pile into the car, all of us, sunburned and full of salt water, blasting music and just laughing at nothing at all. He made it fun. He made it feel like summer. And then there was the guitar. Oh, the guitar. My dad never missed a chance to pull it out when my friends were over. He'd sit on the couch or lean against the kitchen wall and he would just play. And he would sing. And back then I would roll my eyes and groan. I was mortified. I'd whisper, "Dad, stop." While my friends looked on, amused and slightly enchanted. I thought he was being dramatic. I thought he was showing off. But now, I would give anything to hear him do it again. It's funny how time changes everything. The moments that once embarrassed me are now the ones I ache for. His voice, that strum, the way he'd smile, and me being completely unaware of how cool he actually was. Those memories, they're home. They're home to me, and they are a part of me forever. And some of my favorite childhood memories live on the shores of Plum Island. My dad and I spent countless summers there. Salty breeze in our hair, sun on our faces, and a fishing pole in hand. He loved those quiet, salty hours, just the two of us, standing at the edge of the world. He taught me how to cast a line and wait with patience, which, if you know me at all, you know is not exactly my spiritual gift. But I can still hear him gently coaching me. Easy now. Give it a flick. There you go. And I'd watch my little bobber dance in the current like it knew something I didn't. There was one particular day I'll never forget. I was sure I had something big on the line. My excitement was through the roof. I reeled and reeled, heart pounding, only to pull up one very annoyed crab waving its claws like it had something to say. My dad burst out laughing, and so did I. It became our story, the great crab catch of Plum Island. We would tell it for years. He was so good at making those ordinary days feel magical. It wasn't about catching anything. It wasn't about what we were doing. It was just about being out there together, breathing in life side by side, father and daughter. And now when I close my eyes and try to find peace, I picture us there. A mile in, sun setting, crab in my bucket, and my dad smiling like it was the greatest catch he'd ever seen. When I was little, Daddy would sing me a lullaby that he wrote, Dreamland. I wish I could remember all the words. At times, it's tucked them away somewhere just out of reach, like a melody I almost catch in a dream before waking. But I remember the feeling. I remember his voice. I remember knowing without a doubt that the song was mine. He sang about cotton candy clouds and streets of gold, licorice trees, about a world so soft, so safe. It could only exist in a lullaby written by a father for his little girl. And I would curl up beside him, letting the melody wrap around me like a blanket. And even now, all these years later, I can still feel that comfort when the world feels too loud. I may not remember the verses, but I remember the love. And maybe that's the part that matters most. I remember the first time that my parents finally said yes to letting me take the city bus. I must have asked a dozen times, pleading with the full drama and desperation of a young girl craving her first real taste of independence. And eventually, they gave in. I was ecstatic. I was riding the bus with my friend Melissa, feeling 10 feet tall and completely grown up. Probably tossed my hair a little more that day, acting like I already knew exactly what I was doing, like I belonged to the world now. And then I saw it. And there it was, my dad's van. 2 cars behind us, following the bus across town. At first, I was mortified. Like, Dad, what are you doing? But now, I laugh. Because of course he followed. Of course he needed to make sure that I got there safely. That's who he was. My biggest fan and my fiercest protector. Often at the exact same time. He never stopped being my safety net, even when I thought I didn't need one. It's funny how those little moments, the ones that feel embarrassing at the time, become the ones that you hold dearest later. That kind of quiet love, the kind that trails the city bus to make sure that you're okay, is the kind of love that stays with you forever.
We wouldn't go a day without washing our hands, brushing our teeth, and washing our nose. Whoa, wait, we wash our nose? Yes, the #1 place where bacteria, viruses, and pollen enter the body is through the nose. So the average person breathes over 23,000 times a day. That's 23,000 opportunities for bacteria, viruses, and irritants to get into your nose and make you sick. For an extra layer of protection, wash your nose with Xlear. That is Xlear, Xlear. Xlear's drug-free nasal spray features xylitol, an ingredient proven to block adhesion of many nasty bacteria and viruses and effectively clean, not just rinse like a saline, but wash your nose. Xlear nasal spray quickly alleviates congestion, opens your airway, and ensures your body's natural defenses are strong. Read the research studies for yourself at Xlear.com. That's Xlear.com. Protect yourself from the pathogens and junk you breathe. Pick up a bottle for you and your family today.
Feeling the strain of rising costs? One of the biggest offenders isn't gas or groceries, it's healthcare. Over the past decade, health insurance premiums have skyrocketed by 47%. So ask yourself, is your money working for you, or are you stuck in the old sick care system? The Wellness Company offers a better way: holistic, natural, and preventative care without middlemen or red tape. With their One Wellness Elite membership, you get incredible value for just $100 a month, 2 free medical-grade nutraceuticals. Free prescriptions on over 800 medications. Free 24/7 concierge telemedicine access. Discounts on supplements and emergency kits. No tricks, no hidden fine print. If you're already spending $100 plus a month on health expenses, this membership can save you money while providing real, useful care. This isn't insurance, it's well care. Listeners get an exclusive discount with code OUTLOUD at twc.health/OUTLOUD. Take control of your health today.
In just 2 minutes per day, you can reclaim your health and vitality and cut your grocery bill in half with one simple, convenient product. Our doctor-formulated Green 85 juice formula's powerful dose of ultra-concentrated essential nutrients stops hunger in its tracks and supplies your cells with what's missing in the grocery store food. It's packed with wheatgrass, chlorella, dandelion, moringa, spirulina, broccoli sprouts, acai berry, beetroot, probiotics, enzymes, vitamins A, D, K, B12, just to name a few. Go to chemicalfreebody.com/outloud today. Get nature's super multivitamin Green 85, empower your immune system, cut down on your grocery bill, and save 20% on your first order.
Have you been looking for a healthy snack for on the go, but all the energy and protein bars are just too sweet and full of sugar, preservatives, and mystery ingredients? Well, not all energy bars are soft and sugary. Bear Bars are a crunchy, savory bar made from just 6 simple, natural ingredients. They're plant-based, organic, packed with protein and nutrients, and are low-temp dried for a unique crunch. Most energy bars are based on chocolate or fruit and are held together with syrups and sweeteners, but Bear Bars are a delicious combination of veggies, nuts, and seeds. They're a perfect fast snack for hikes, workouts, and busy moms and dads. To learn more, just visit bearbar.com/outloud and get the exclusive discount just for America Out Loud listeners. That's BEARBAR.com/outloud.
Hi, I'm Dr. James Bragman, board certified EO in internal and geriatric medicine. Do you or someone you know suffer from airborne allergies due to pollen, pet dander, and other particles, which aggravate and irritate the sensitive nasal passages? Are you tired of the side effects of common allergy products, such as drowsiness, feeling lethargic, and dry nose? Well, now there's Cofix RX. This revolutionary product stops airborne allergy symptoms, all while avoiding the side effects of the usual allergy remedies. Shake, spray, and cleanse away your allergy issues with Cofix RX. Click on the Cofix RX banner ad in the American Out Loud shop for 20% off your next order of Cofix RX.
Are you a nurse feeling stuck in a toxic job? It's time to take back your career with the Functional Nurse Career Bundle, brought to you by Remnant Healthcare and Functional Nurse Academy. This bundle offers the most comprehensive training available, a practitioner toolkit, nursing CEUs, and board certification opportunities, all designed to help you thrive in functional medicine. Plus, you'll gain access to exclusive career opportunities and a private membership community. Don't hesitate. Enroll today at nursesoutloud.com.
I've got 2 questions for you. Have you been feeling off since COVID? Are you struggling with lingering symptoms? You're not alone. As Dr. Peter McCullough says, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Introducing the wellness company's Spike Detox Trio. This powerful supplement combines nanokinase, bromelain, and turmeric to support your immune system and fight off harmful spike proteins. Nanokinase improves circulation, while bromelain boosts antiviral defenses, and turmeric reduces inflammation. It's not just another supplement. It's a scientifically backed solution to help you bounce back from COVID. Imagine waking up filled with energy, feeling clear-headed and vibrant again. It's possible with Spike Detox Trio. Reclaim your health now by visiting twc.health/outloud and use promo code OUTLOUD for 20% off your first order right now.
Virus protection and immune boosting just got easier. Enter the Daily V-Stack. Using cellular absorption technology, we put vitamins A, C, D, zinc, and quercetin together with a multi-mineral complex for complete protection. The Daily V-Stack is basically an oral IV of 6 products, all in one at an affordable price. Go to chemicalfreebody.com/outloud, get the Daily V-Stack, protect yourself, boost your immune system, and save 20% on your first order.
And I quote, "You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We will preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth. Or we will sentence them to take the first step into 1,000 years of darkness." Those are the words of number 40, Ronald Reagan. Shine bright as America approaches 250 years. AmericaOutloud.news is that place to awaken your heart, soul, and mind to the out loud truth.
America Out Loud Talk Radio plays on the iHeartRadio network. You can also listen on our media player from any web browser, anywhere in the world. We have the best in-class apps available on Apple, Android, or Alexa. 24/7, great talk radio. All of our shows go to podcast the following day. You can hear them on apps such as Spotify, Stitcher, Pandora, iHeart Podcasts, and many more. Be sure to subscribe and rate the show on Apple Podcasts for me. Don't forget to check out our online store at americaoutloud.shop, where you can find all of the products that we represent on our network at a discounted rate, including an incredible line of products from Chemical Free Body. Unlike the majority of supplements you'll find on the market today, with Chemical Free Body, you won't have to worry about harmful ingredients, binders, fillers, or flow agents. Their ultra-safe breakthrough nanosilver technology destroys pathogens, balances the microbiome, and boosts immunity. All of these products are proudly made in the USA and are backed by an unheard of double your money back guarantee. I've made a twice daily Green 85 drink part of my routine, which has led to a decrease in belly bloat and an increase in my energy throughout the day. Use promo code OUTLOUD to save 20% off the Healthy Gut Bundle. I'll catch you on the other side of this break. Stay with us. Welcome back to Nurses Out Loud on America Out Loud Talk Radio. I'm your host, Nurse Kimberly Overton. Wherever you're listening from today and whatever you're doing, I thank you for giving me the gift of your time. Be sure to make AmericaOutloud.news your daily stop for all the latest news and happenings. We all must do our part and share the stories, the articles, the podcasts, and videos so we can help secure America's future. If you're just joining us, I've been sharing something deeply personal for this episode, and it's a living journal that I kept as I sat vigil during the last days of my father's life. And if there's one thing that my dad never failed to be, it was my protector. He may have been a dreamer, a musician, a man who chased sunsets with his guitar slung over his back. But when it came to me, he was all fire and steel. Whether it was a boy who got too bold or a teacher who crossed the line, Daddy didn't just have my back. He took care of business. I remember one teacher in particular who made me feel small. He belittled me in front of my class. I came home upset, trying to hold back tears. And before I could even finish explaining what had happened, he was already standing up, grabbing his jacket, headed up to the school. He didn't raise his voice, but his presence said everything that needed to be said. He let him know in no uncertain terms, this is my daughter, and you will treat her with respect. And that teacher never messed with me after that, I will say that much. My dad taught me what it meant to be worth defending. And now as an adult, I see just how powerful that was. Because when a girl knows she's protected, when she knows her voice matters, she grows into a woman who protects others too, who speaks out, who refuses to let injustice slide. My advocacy didn't start in nursing school. It started the moment I watched my father stand up for me, again and again. But our story, it got complicated. And the truth is, it wasn't always warm and easy between us. As I moved into my teenage years, the relationship shifted. The same man who once bundled me up for Christmas light drives and handcrafted trophies out of wood and welds, he started to drift. He wasn't always around. And even when he was, it didn't always feel like he was. I carried a lot of resentment. I felt abandoned during some of the years I needed him most. I didn't understand his choices. And I let the silence between us grow heavier than either of us knew how to break. I kept my distance, built walls, tried to convince myself I didn't need what I had missed. But beneath all that hurt lived a very simple truth. I just wanted my dad. And that pain doesn't erase the beauty of our earlier years. And they were beautiful years. It just adds weight to the love that came before. And it makes the healing that's happened since that much more sacred. Because we did find our way back. And I learned to forgive, not just him, but the part of me that had tried so hard to stop needing him. Love is complicated, and so is grief. But what I know now is that I love my dad fully. Not because he was perfect, because he was far from perfect, but because he's mine. And forgiveness didn't happen in a single moment. It didn't arrive like a lightning bolt or some grand emotional breakthrough. It came slowly, layer by layer, year by year, quiet, unglamorous, often painful. And there were years I didn't even realize how much I needed to forgive. I felt the weight of it, the tension in my shoulders when we spoke, the guardedness in my heart, and the ache that came with remembering what could have been. I told myself I was fine. I buried the longing. But grief has a way of digging things up. And when my own son was born, something in me shifted. I started to understand how hard it is to carry dreams and responsibilities at the same time. I started to see my dad not just as the man who hurt me, but as a man who was hurting too. Human, flawed, wounded in ways I may never fully know. And the truth is, I didn't forgive him for him. I forgave him for me. Because resentment is a slow poison. And I wanted peace. Because I wanted to love my dad in whatever time that we had left, without bitterness standing in the way. And somehow, once I let go, all that love came rushing back, unfiltered, undeniable. And then when I was sitting beside him, I no longer saw the gaps or the disappointments. I saw a man who tried, who failed, who dreamed, who hurt, and who still loved me the best way that he knew how. And I let myself love him back, freely, fully, and without keeping score. Because grace is not earned, it's given. And in this sacred season, grace is what both of us needed the most. And I was just 17 years old when I became pregnant with my son. My dad was living in Tennessee by then, and my mom and I were still in Boston. We're navigating life, navigating tension, navigating that terrifying space between childhood and motherhood. He didn't come back right away, but he came back in time to be there for the birth of my son, his first and only grandchild. And when he did, something shifted. Maybe it was the weight of legacy. Maybe it was the ache of all the moments missed. But he came home. And this time, he stayed. I watched him fall in love with my baby boy. The way that he looked at him, held him, protected him. It was the kind of love that didn't need words. The kind that made up for lost time and quiet, steady presence. The presence that I had longed for. They've been close ever since that time. A bond I never could have predicted, but one I thank God for every day. My son doesn't just have a grandfather, he had a champion, a storyteller, a man who cheered the loudest and loved the deepest. Watching them together healed places in me I didn't even know were still hurting. Because through loving him, my dad found his way back to loving us. And one of the quiet blessings in this sacred season was watching my son rise with strength, tenderness, and grace that I've never seen. He didn't just witness his grandfather's final days, he stood in them, shoulder to shoulder with me, learning how to care for him, how to administer his medications, how to position him so he could rest comfortably. He was there. He was truly there until the very end. And there was something so profoundly beautiful about watching him care for his grandfather with such gentleness. No hesitation, no fear, just love in motion. That softened something in both of us. And through that, something else happened too. As we walked this road together, many of the wounds we carry in our own relationship began to quietly mend. In the stillness, in the shared purpose, in the act of honoring the man who meant so much to both of us. He helped carry his grandfather home. And in doing so, he helped bring us home too. Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready for this season. There's something brutal about watching it all unfold in slow motion. The knowing, anticipating, the wanting to soak in every moment, while also bracing for the loss that looms like a shadow in the background. I kept remembering all of the beautiful things. Plum Island, Christmas cocoa, songs sung in the kitchen. And each memory brings comfort, but also ache. Because I knew what those memories were leading me toward. I knew what was on the other side of all of this. People talk about the pain after loss, but this in-between space, it is its own kind of sorrow. You're still there, you're still showing up, still laughing at inside jokes, still holding hands. But every smile feels a little fragile. Every I love you carries a little bit more weight. And no matter how many people I have guided through this season in my role as a nurse, it's different when it's your dad. The truth is, I didn't want to be ready because readiness felt like letting go. And I just wasn't there yet. I still don't feel like I'm there. So I just sat with the ache. I honored the memories as they came. And I held tight to the time that we had together, even though it broke me wide open. I was sitting at my father's bedside. The room was dimly lit. The air was thick with memory and love. Worship music was playing softly in the background. Each note a prayer, each lyric a thread holding me together. His breathing started to change. I heard the dreaded rattle, the gurgling. I knew what that meant. My nurse's mind read the signs, even as my daughter's heart silently pleaded for more time. And so I wrote. I wrote because that's what I've always done when my heart was too full. It's a gift I got from him, my love for words, for story, for finding healing in expression. And my son, he inherited it too. 3 generations bound by ink and soul. As the hours passed, memories continued to flood in. Plum Island crab catches, the Bruins games on Channel 38, the trophy that he made me from scrap metal, the van that quietly followed my first bus ride. I saw them all so clearly, a mosaic of moments that shaped me. I didn't know what tomorrow was going to bring, but in that moment, I was present. I was holding the hand that once held mine. I was remembering. I was forgiving. I was loving. And I was writing it all down because I knew that someday, when the grief feels too heavy, I'll return to these words, to that sacred night, and to this quiet goodbye that was wrapped in worship and grace. Because my Father gave me stories, and now I give them back to him. My father is gone. At 2:37 a.m. on Sunday, May 11th, 2025, I held my father's hand as he took his final breath. It was just the two of us. And it was an achingly beautiful moment that I will always carry with me. I pronounced his time of death, something I have done countless times as a hospice nurse. But this time it was different. This time it was my daddy. I cleaned his body. I prepared him for the funeral home. I did it with steady and sure hands, but a shattered heart. Because love doesn't stop when the heartbeat does. It was quiet, sacred, surreal. And I still don't think it's fully hit me yet. My father is gone. And I know that there will never be another man like him. Rest now, Daddy, because your dream lives on in us. And Dreamland will always be where I find you. Thank you for being here with me today, truly, for allowing me the space to share something so raw, so personal, and so full of love. If you're still listening, my guess is that you understand the depth of a bond between a daughter and her father and the ache of having to say goodbye. So I am going to forgo my usual outro today. No calls to action, no reminders to subscribe or share. And none of that feels right in this moment. Instead, I want to leave you with something far more meaningful to me and hopefully to you. As I mentioned earlier, my father was a songwriter. Music was in his blood. And even when life tried to push it aside, and he never quite made it in the way that he once dreamed of and we had all hoped for, his songs still live on. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whether you're driving, walking, or simply sitting still, I invite you to take a deep breath, open your heart, and help me to honor my daddy by listening to one of my favorite songs that he wrote. I've never been able to listen to it without crying. He wrote this, I think I was about 6 years old. And I cry because the memories of those days crush me in ways I can't explain, yet comfort me in ways that are beyond my understanding. Thank you for listening. Until next time, be safe, be well, and God bless.
I've been down and out so many times. If I go to break a swear, I wouldn't know what to do. I've just finished my last pipe. Then I started thinking about you. I've fallen just about as far as any man could. most of all. God knows how many times I've tried to be the kind of man they say I ought to be. Like bird in the hand, life's had a stranglehold on me. Every time I try to run, it seemed I'd always stumble and fall. Knowing you'd be there to catch me was the hurt that hurt me most of all. And I ain't never coming back to you. I'm never gonna write a call. And just knowing that I want to is a hurt that hurts me most of all. It's time